guys, welcome back to the channel. My wife and I are going to have the bathrooms renovated to a certain extent, more like a facelift. The vanities will be replaced, the countertops and the sinks will be replaced, the faucets will be replaced, and mirrors also in the back will be replaced. So right now I have to do some prep work in one of the bathrooms. I have to move a receptacle from one side to the other because the contractor we hired, they don't have an underwriter's license. I do. I have an electrical underwriter's license, so I can do the work here. All right, guys, so yesterday late afternoon, I did some work here, starting to prep a little bit. I had taken the receptacle out that was here in the backsplash, the 4-inch backsplash, and I took the old box out, and I cut out the backsplash right here, and took that whole backsplash out so that I can tunnel. I have to tunnel like a trench here, all the way across to get to the new receptacle location, which is going to be here, which is actually in the same height elevation as these two other switches here. It will be right here. These two openings here were where a towel bar used to be. I had taken that off. That's going to be filled in. The towel bar would be relocated into the other part of the bathroom. So I drew lines here where I want the tunnel to be. And now I'm dealing with right here, this back about 2.5 inches is the concrete wall. It's block wall, exterior wall. So I have 1.5 inch cavity in between there, and there's also 1.5 inch rigid board with foil on one side for insulation on the exterior wall, and then there's 1/2 inch sheetrock. So I have a little, almost 2.5 inches really to deal with in the back there to put a junction box here with a proper lid cover, and we're going to use conduit, metal conduit in here till we get into the space here, the wall space where I can get up into the box for the receptacle. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to start with a keyhole saw. And I know for a fact that after the sheetrock, I have the rigid board that will be cut very easily, but there's also 2 inch by 1 inch, which is really 1 3/4 inches by 3/4 inch furring strips, vertical, that run, that they shoot into the block wall. And so I will have to cut that out. I have a sawzall to cut that out. And also in the corner, there's going to be a wall stud there on 2 sides. And I'll just have to cut that out. It's not a structural thing, but I want to be able to get the metal conduit through there with a metal elbow and a stub out into the cavity of the wall space here. So this here is hot. This is the hot wire lead. In fact, this receptacle and the one on my side of this bathroom are the only 2 receptacles that are on a dedicated line, a home run back to the main box in the garage with a 15 amp circuit breaker. Those 2 are separate from the other wiring in his bathroom. They're on a different circuit. So just to let you know, this is hot coming down from above, and my junction box will go in here, actually in the vertical, and then you'll see this stub into the top of the box, the top side of the box, and you'll also see the metal conduit in the center of the box, coming out and going around. So I'm going to start with my keyhole saw over here and see what's going on behind here. All right, so I made the tunnel through the sheetrock. As you can see, I have 1, 2 furring strips that I have to cut out with the sawzall, top and bottom. And then after that is the 1.5 inch vapor barrier, which has a foil wrap on it. I get that out. Then I'll have a nice cavity in here. And then the last thing I'll do is open up that corner there with a sawzall. And I just have to stub in. There's a stud right here. I have to stub in about to here. And by the way, all this that you see, I'm going to tape and stack and get that all finished up good. But it's going to be hidden because the new vanity is going to be about that high, and then the countertops on top of that, plus the backsplash. The backsplash is going to be up here, so you won't see this at all. The one thing I will say though is that you always have to have access to a junction box that I'm going to put in here, and there will be access through the main part of the vanity base, the 30-inch base here in the center where the sink will go. So there will be access behind there if you need access for some reason. Okay, so I have 1.5 inches from the wall, from the block wall, the back of the block wall, to the back of the sheetrock. So 1.5 inches. My box is about 1.5 inches, and with the cover on, I'll be fine. And then I'll be able to put the cut a piece of strip of 1/2 inch sheetrock and just put that right in there and cover that all up with spackle tape and spackle. It'll be all good. I know there's a stud here and there's a corner stud here. That's the corner, the piece. And I get the stud. There you go. All right, so what I'm going to do first is dry fit this for measurements for the length of the conduit, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is work backwards. I'm not going to mount the box, okay? The connector for the Romex live wire, which actually the breaker is off in the back. I turned it off, it's dead. And this is for the conduit, okay? So we're all set. I did pre-drill the hole. I pre-drilled the hole in there into the masonry so you can put this in. But I'm not going to commit myself. I'm going to take the wire, I'm going to feed it down through here, out here, and I'm going to feed it, we're working backwards, all the way through this pipe, piece by piece, then put it together, put it in here, and then install this whole thing. I don't care how much wire sticks out of here, and I don't care how much wire sticks out of here. It doesn't matter. But the main thing is I don't want to work myself into a corner and I won't be able to get this thing installed properly. So that's what I'm going to do. Once I get that all done and in here, this will be connected in here. I have actually too much wire here, but that's okay. And then I'll make it all up as time goes on. So I'll show you how I do this. I piece it together. Take it all apart. These are the set screws. Feed the wire through. 14 gauge wire, by the way. House wire, no big deal. Okay, now I take it all the way through. Plenty of wire, we don't care, doesn't matter. Plenty of wire right now. And I'm going to guesstimate, I'm going to bring it back a little bit. Okay, that should be more than enough. Now, put it through each piece. First, this, then the elbow, a little tricky. With the elbow. Come on now. So the pliers will help you too. Pull it through. And we got to pull this all the way through. So we got to kind of help ourselves here. Keep the wire straight as possible. Keep it nice and straight. Keep pulling it through. Little by little, it takes time. Okay, I'm going to secure this first one here on top into the small, the 4-inch length conduit. Secure it tight so I don't lose it. Okay, now the big one, the long one, the 30-inch one. Got to be nice and straight. Feed it right through. Okay. Do the same thing with this. All the way home, put the set screw in. Very good. Now I can trap myself, see? So now I want to take this wire. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to put this end in, looking in first, and then like kind of knife it in this way a little bit. All right. And I know the screws on top are going to be a little bit of a problem. I'll shove it in. Get it right in there. Okay. Now we're good. We're good. And it's not all the way home because the box is going to be set now. So what I need to do first is get the main power through. And like I said, these are dead. No, they're dead. I learned the hard way years ago. Work with live wires. No good. No good. They can be stubborn, but that's all right. You got to get it through. And it is much longer than we need, obviously. But I got to get this straight. Okay, I got a little bit more there. Okay, now I'm going to put this one through here. As well. Feed it right through. And you gotta make sure it's nice and it feeds well. That's the whole thing. So you don't fight yourself, you know. And what I'll do is get that in there. Okay? Now that it's tight, get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. And my hole should line up. All right, everything's secure and nice and tight here. Everything's done properly. And now I'm going to go to this side here and show you how I install the receptacle box, okay? All right, the receptacle box, this is built for existing work, a renovation job. They have these little flanges on the edge here. And then there's these little butterfly things that come off on the top and bottom. And when you screw this in, it pulls this piece of plastic forward and sandwiches the flanges to the sheetrock from the front and back, and it's really, really, really tight and strong. So I have to feed the wires through the back first, okay, and get them through here, guide it through, which is not always the easiest thing in the world. There you go. Just a little bit through there with the shielding on, just like that. The shielding's on about 2 inches back there. And that's it. Now we're going to try and negotiate this into the hole with these two butterflies. They have to be tight to the box when you put it in, because this hole has to be cut exactly the size of the box, okay, not the flange. So it's going to be a little tough to get it in here. You just got to kind of fight it a little bit. Try to get the bottom in first. So the bottom cleared, top didn't clear yet. I'm going to have to tap on a little bit to get it. Just help it a little bit without hurting a hole. All right, once it's in, I gotta go down. I gotta go down with this. Okay. All right, that's tight to the flanges. Now I'm going to screw this together. Do this one. That's pulling that piece, that plastic piece, the butterfly on both sides, top and bottom here, in the corners, opposite corners, tight, so that it's nice and tight to the back of the sheetrock. That's why you have to cut these holes precisely the size of the box. But they do hold very well. Okay. All right, that's not going anywhere. After I get all the wires connected on the receptacle, and I start the screws to mount into the box, I always push it in to make sure that those wires there actually get where they need to be, so I don't have any friction when I go to continue to screw this in tight, you know, into the box. So I just want to let you know about that, and then we'll tighten these up. To kind of fit it, I might have to go in further with that. Okay, in fact, I do have to go in a little further. I know the bottom is out a little bit on the flange, so I have to go in a little bit further, a little bit further on top. Make sure it's perpendicular straight up and down. Try it again. That looks much better. Some people don't care about the screw heads, which way the slots face, but I do. And in my case, it's going to go horizontal. And that's it. They're good. All right, flip the switch on in the breaker box. All right, we have power. We're good to go. And next, you're going to see me fix this all up, patch it all up with the sheetrock that. These two plugs too, also where the old towel rack was. And just get that all cleaned up, and then that'll be it pretty much. Tape and spackle and make it nice, and then maybe I'll just prime it. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is use this window and door insulator. It's foam insulation. There's like 3 types depending on the areas you have to do. This will expand to a certain point and then stop. There are others that are more aggressive in beam spaces and stuff like that, where you would have a larger area and it will expand rapidly. So I don't know how fast this dries, but once I do all the foam insulation in here, I'll let it dry, or get it close to dry, and then I'll cut all my sheetrock in the interim to fit in here and close this all up. So here we go. They tell you to shake it. They tell you to shake it like vigorously. I don't know, but here we go. Until you use it again. This is what they tell you to do. So, all right, got that done. I'm just going to clean up here, and then we'll start cutting the sheetrock. All right, so we did sheetrock this over here. Sheetrock, put the 2 plugs in for the where the old towel bar was, and taped it, and 1 coat of spackle. And I have 2 more coats to put on, each one all around. Another day should be finished, no problem. And just lightly sand it and get it ready for prime it all up. And that's it, pretty much. Like I said earlier, The new vanity will actually cover this. The top will cover this, and the backsplash will be up here. So it's a moot point. It doesn't have to be really finished that well, but these other two plugs over here do have to be finished as well. I have to get a can of this stuff. It's called stippling. For some reason in Florida, they use this a lot. They put stipple texture on the ceiling, which is different than the walls. I have to kind of like replicate that so it doesn't look like it's a patch. That's going to be a job that I'm going to have to figure out how to do that one. I haven't done that before ever in Florida. In New York, where I was, they had nice flat straight walls, clean walls, and didn't have that at all. So when I do to finish that up, that'll be something else you'll see, and it'll be an experiment right in the beginning, but I'll get it done. All right, so this first little part of the project is finished, completed 100%. Where the old towel bar used to be, the handles, you can't see because of the texture. This Homax wall texture, orange peel, it works really great. I just practiced it out in the yard for a few minutes, and it seemed like if you held it back about 3 feet, 2 feet 6 to 3 feet, and you moved with it, it would have a bigger impact because these particles seem to like get larger the further out it sprays. And that's what I needed on here with the texture, and it worked out really great. And I waited a little dry about a half hour, then I primed it and I painted with the finish coat. The receptacle is all finished, everything works great. And so this is the first part of the project. How to get this done in order to get this demoed so that we can start putting all the stuff back with the new countertop and the new cabinets, new sink and everything else like that. So for now, that's it for now, and we'll catch you on the next video.